explain it like this. In order to completely and fully understand what goes on within the carceral state, the little intricacies, because everything isn't sort of black and white. Like there are no set conditions in which everyone fits in a box in terms of why they're there, the reasons they're there, how they got there. And so when you have journalists who are close to the ear, have their ear close to the ground, and they're actually experiencing these things day by day, they're giving you reportage from the inside that you may never get. And in order to understand how do we, fight, help, reorder, radically reverse this whole thing in terms of the carceral state, we need to know the narrative. We need to know why people are there, why people got there, and the conditions in which they live. It's simple, you know what I mean? And so when you have someone, it's like Gwendolyn Brooks when she wrote her book, A Report from the Inside, which was a pull the covers off type of thing in terms of the black community. That's what you have with carceral journalists, right? And so that's the main, number one reason why it's important to have these voices with the pen telling the truth.
Well, they need to bring it out to the outside, right?
Bring it out to the outside. Well, how else do you want to get it?
Because none of us even understand what goes on, because we're really taught from a young age that's bad, stay away from it. So no one really wants to even acknowledge it.
I teach at the University of New Haven. I got 7 felony convictions. Most of my students are criminal justice. And criminal justice majors, no, literally, they are. And every semester, I just did it a couple of weeks ago, when they come to my class, I ask them about themselves, where they're from, what they're interested in. And then I ask them, what do you know about me? And most young undergraduates, they haven't looked up their professors. And I begin to tell them my narrative. And they begin to, first, it's shock, because I'm something that they can't realize. I'm a stereotype versus the reality in which they're living in which they get a chance to see every day. And I tell them, I'm so glad you came to me, so we can get that out of the way, and you can really understand, what it means to engage with someone that's been inside, right?
I think that's awesome, because a lot of us, I think, growing up are taught not even to engage with that type of society.
No. Right.
So you're already put in a box where you're separated from, everything else, and taught, hey, this doesn't really exist, and you're so taught to ignore it that you don't even consider it as part of the world around you until it's brought.
It's the invisible empire.
It is. It's an invisible empire.
It's the invisible empire.
And I feel
because it doesn't affect you.
No, it's built that way because it's meant for you to ignore it, to never want to be part of it.
And so I want them to know when they go into, because I have a lot of students that work as police officers, investigators, detectives, inside prisons and all that. I give them letters of recommendation and everything. I feel better that they come through me when they're going to deal with that population in that kind of way. Because at least I know they know the idea between stereotype versus reality, perception versus reality. They've seen the perception, but they also seen the reality. You know what I mean? And so
what do you think needs to be done to fix the whole people going to prison thing? I mean, it's such a deep-rooted issue in our society where
I think,
and here it's such a business too.
Right, it's a business, and I mean it's multifold. The first thing is we got to rethink how we view crime and punishment. I mean, as it sort of sits now, a lot of times the punishment doesn't fit the crime. And even if one says it does, it doesn't, because if you dig deep enough into someone's past, sometimes people never had a chance in life. Is it our fault as a society, or is it their fault? Whose keeper are we? Whose keeper are we? No, literally.
Should be our brother's keeper, but we're not.
But we're not.
For the most part, no.
And so there's that responsibility too. You know what I mean? And so that's the first thing we need to have to clear. We need to rethink, readdress how we deal with, things in which we say that they need punishment.
Well, I think for the most part, it
needs-
starts with the youth, and we need to show them that there's a different path. Because nowadays, with the whole rap culture, cell phones, you know, people are striving to fit in.
Right,
And
but it also starts with, on the other side, the people who are giving out the crime and punishment. If you haven't provided anything for anybody, then you're saying, the hell with how you were born. The hell that you didn't have a mother and a father. That's not our responsibility, and it's not going to be.
But it should be as a healthy society.
It should be. We should
Absolutely.
be. No, if we're going to be a moral society, as human beings, then all of the other stuff needs to go out of the window, and we need to come to a place of morality,
Correct.
the moral compass. But we don't do that a lot of times. We do it as X's and O's, and we're rubrics and we're numbers, and we fit into this whole thing without any kind of human compassion.
Because right now, the way the carceral state is handled, it's a business and it makes money. So there's no incentive to fix something that, when you look on a business venture, is not broken. It works.
Well,
it makes
it's not
money.
no incentive, but it's also you got to look at it like this too. The carceral state is a scare tactic. It's a jigaboo tactic for the population that they can always report to. The politicians and the government officials are the ones that are in power. They're saying, "Well, look at what happened," to scare the public into figuring that we need to do more. We need to do more, but not more locking people up. You know what I mean? You got it mixed up.
Right? You got to do more, but let's get more people in prison.
Right. There you go. That's what I'm saying, man.
I love you, Randall. Thank you.